What up, my freaks? RuinousInsight here with part 92 of my Total Warhammer 3 modded Karl Franz campaign. So as we saw last time, Marcus Wolfheart, or rather immediately after defeating Mazda Mundi's stack and piecing out with them on your guys' suggestion, he was able to defeat Morathi and her stacks as well. That, however, did cost us some damage. It's kind of distracting to speak while the frickin' terror guys keeps yelling. Yeah, so Morathi badly damaged. Her army is pretty much destroyed, but we had to sacrifice a couple of our heroes and one of our units of Lothran Seaguard to do it. But at the very least, that portion of Lustria, the northern portion, is once again secure, and we should be able to rebuild, remilitarize, and continue doing what we're doing. More importantly than that, we ended off the episode with Luther Harkin attacking Simon Moa. Sure, the ambush may have failed, but this was a pretty important fight, because if we defeat Luther Harkin here, we simply advance and destroy his faction, and then can not worry about them anymore. Nothing to say other than that. Looks like a fairly decent stack on him, and we gotta watch out for that bloated corpse. Hopefully our cannons can do the work, but otherwise we should have this. Close victory, medium casualties, certainly possible, but we shall see. Ooh, looks like the enemy is gonna raise their weapons first, getting those army abilities off right away, and an exchange of mortar fire. The human mortals versus, well, I guess they're also technically using human mortals. Oh, are they different? The projectiles slightly? It looks like theirs are more fiery than ours are. Well, isn't that rude? And then the artillery exchange. Oh, this is actually a pretty cool shot. We got the mortar fire being exchanged and carronade versus cannon fire being exchanged as well. Not often that we see sort of matching artillery pieces. It's also probably a fairly good time to make a quick little comparison. So their carronades with their buffs fire at 522 range, whereas our cannons fire at 475. Wow, we even have inferior cannonry. Well, I guess it is Empire, after all. They're a jack of all trades sort of deal, and mortars are at 435. I'm ignoring the actual buffs that they have, because that's because of their more powder, or whatever the buff is called. Much powder, many extra powder. There we go, close enough. And let's see, what do our mortars fire at? 400 range. Okay, so we do slightly get outrange on all of our artillery. Interesting. But we'll see if that pays out for them. Anyway, here we go. A do or die moment for Luther Harkin and the Awakened. Okay, well, they're already dead, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. We are going to start off with our mortars annoying the enemy infantry, while our cannons focus down the enemy carronade. Now, the mortars, or our mortars specifically, were positioned in such a way that they can reach the enemy infantry line, but the two mortars can't actually reach each other. So while the enemy artillery is firing, it is by and large firing at summoned units, though the enemy carronades are firing back at our own cannons. That said, they only have the single carronade, and they're going to lose models fairly, well, I wouldn't say quickly, because frankly cannons are trash, but quickly enough for our purposes, as they are limited. There we go, down to one carronade left, and I'm actually surprised that the enemy crew isn't melting at this point. And because if nothing else, artillery crews, specifically Vampire Coast artillery crews, have absolutely horrendous leadership and do tend to melt if you sneeze on them. And there we go, it looks like these guys will be melting away. Damn, that guy went past the screen. These guys will be crumbling and melting away, and the rest of the enemy army has certainly started milling around with our mortar fire coming down. We can also see explosions in our own line as the enemy mortars fire right back at us, but once again, this is the summoned units that are out front for a good reason, and they're going to be taking mortar hits. Though now that I think about it, I probably should have actually tried to preserve the single unit of the handgunners because we don't really have anything that is anti-air, really just the cannons, and they're frankly terrible at it. Luther Harkin, if he doesn't land with his regeneration and his massive HP pool, is going to be a big problem because all of our units are anti-ground and not anti-air. But anyway, we're gonna start the battle off with the, well, after the bombardment, with a nice little pit of shades, catching 2 enemy units of zombies, a deckhands mob, and I believe I don't know what it was. Gunnery mob? It's probably a gunnery mob. Yeah, it's a gunnery mob. With handguns in particular. And that has also apparently annoyed the enemy sufficiently to start heading towards us. And now look, they've got some clan rats here to help them out as well. One of Luther's probably eyeing that warp stone, thinking it is a useful artifact, and ooh, nice explosive shot coming in from Luther as he tries to gun down Simon, who can't do much about any of this, so he's just gonna book it on out of there. We are gonna have our hand cannons fire away at Luther, or not hand cannons, hand guns. We don't have cannons fire away at Luther, but not for long, as they do finally get brought down. Looks like the enemy sirens have been found, and we are going to stop there and use our single-use mortarmen, which have the Lichbone Pen and thus the magical damage on them, to attack said enemy sirens. We had several units out front, namely our Simon, namely Simon and our warrior priest, and their goal was to find the hidden units like the sirens and the Mourngulls here, as well as the bloated corpse, and make sure that they are unable to reach our lines where we can't see them. Gotta know where the enemy is. Anyway, the bordermen, or the mortarmen I should say, should take care of those sirens without any trouble. Enemy is also moved in its scurvy dogs, but they've smashed into a line of great swords, and that's not a great matchup for them. Terrorgeist Shriek coming in from Luther Harkin's Death Shriek Terrorgeist, and pretty much obliterating our summoned unit of halberdiers, but it was only a summoned unit, so we don't care that much. Looks like the sirens are beginning to crumble away / disintegrate, so they're done, and Simon is going to have to get the heck out of there before he gets killed. Now it's time for us to move our infantry in as our great swords head towards the enemy lines, together with our warrior priest, who did a great job at finding those Mourngulls, who seem upset about it, and also managed to get that bloated corpse to explode, rather than taking any of our units. Fantastic. Alrighty, well, the infantry is engaged. We are also dropping grenades on the enemy. Too bad the grenades can't fire at Luther Harkin, but they're only anti-ground. And they are going to try to focus down some of these units, but we are going to have to try to be real careful about not killing off our own greatswords. Those units are quite threatening to us after all. The Mortifactors and the Knights of Caliban are headed out to the flanks over here, going to go up to that zombie pirate gunnery mob and run through the enemy backline. We've also managed to keep 3 enemy units away from us, and these were all units that were essentially dodging our mortar fire this entire time. Our cannons have had to switch to Luther Harkin because we have no other way to hurt him, which means the enemy mortars have been left alone, but we do have another unit of Knights of Moor headed through the trees to try to hunt them down. That was also a nice shot. Alrighty, heading out of the shadows, and we should be able to get that artillery piece destroyed fairly quickly once again, and they are quite fragile. There we go. Well done to the Knights of Moor. Now they can't fire, and frankly this one unit will be able to kill them both. No problem, though they are under fire a little bit by the zombie pirate gunnery mob. Here it'll get ripped apart by mortars if it stands still. Over on this flank we have a unit of animated hulks fighting some greatswords, and they were fighting these Knights of Moor over here, but we had to back off because they had been taking damage. Let the greatswords engage the enemy and then charge right back in, surround and destroy and those animated hulks. Otherwise, the battle has shifted in our favor at about maybe 65%, closing in on 70. Luther Harkin is slightly damaged by the continuous fire from the cannons, but really not near enough. We really need a couple Hellblasters in here to replace those cannons because they would be much better at this sort of job. The enemy Storm Vermin, together with the Rotting Prometheans, are still in the fight, though Simon Moesher is now leading his greatswords, and I do like that we have greatswords and the Knights of Moor in this army. It works so well because the Lord matches the greatsword together with the Knights of Moor getup when you specialize him to be a Knights of Moor Lord. It really works, is what I'm getting at. I'm so glad that he has a dual-handed greatsword, rather than echoing the sort of armament that the regular Knights of War have with their sword and shield. Though it does look absolutely fantastic. Still the best-looking knight unit. Anyway, Luther Harkon's down to half HP, but his army is in much worse shape as the balance of power creeps towards 80% in our favor. Really got to bring down these rotting Prometheans, but as defensive units, hardly surprising. It's taken a while. Looks like, however, the rest of the army has begun to crumble away, and even Luther Harkon is beginning to crumble, and with that, the battle is ours. Alright, though, man, this guy's been firing away at us for quite a while. In fact, he took out all 4 units here of these mortars. This was all Luther Harkon. It seemed like with every single shot he took, he managed to destroy a mortar piece. I don't believe this kills the actual unit off, though, as in, as long as the crew are alive, it's fine. And man, these cannons are just firing for the entire battle. They're down to half their ammunition, and they only used a little bit to down the enemy carronades. So after the carronades were down, all of that was spent trying to hurt Luther Harkon, and damn. And he wasn't even dodging it, he was just up in the air like this the entire time. It's still taking ages. And I don't know whether that's that means Luther Harkon is deserving of praise for being so tanky, or whether it's just an indictment of the cannons because they're bad. But anyway, with that, Luther Harkon goes down and the last enemy units are done for, and the Awakened are broken for good. Man, I was hoping the battle would end on that note, but I guess we're gonna chase down the Storm Vermin as well, so as few units survive as possible. We do still have to contend with the Dead Rise after all, but it won't be enough. And because Simon is still in friendly territory and he'll be able to move right after this, and even if Luther and half his army survived, they're not going to survive to live another day because they can't escape now. Alrighty, well, that one most definitely did take some effort. We were able to win it and knocked out most of the enemy army, but it was a Pyrrhic victory and at some cost. It's kind of funny, I think, getting a taste of your own medicine with Luther Harkon hovering in the air and us unable to do anything about it. And I do find that amusing because of the various Air Force armies that I have a tendency to use in other campaigns, which are super effective for the same exact reason. When the enemy doesn't have a way like this army to really target aerial units, those aerial units can be incredibly valuable. Tic-Tac-Toe in the Krokar campaign in particular is just insane. Like, no one can stop him. No amount of armies can stop him. It's hilarious. But anyway, we have no way to heal, unfortunately, because this is the Empire, so we're going to, I guess, pardon captives. Which still doesn't make sense. I feel like they should rename it to not pardon captives, because I don't see you pardoning a bunch of like orcs and like chaos worshippers and stuff like that. It's not happening. Or why are you pardoning zombies? Join war against Hexoatl. Yeah, everybody wants us to join war against Hexoatl immediately after piecing out with Hexoatl. Alright, Puppets of Misrule. There's still a fair few factions up on the map as well. 80. What is this? Oh, Puppets of Misrule are gonna attack Blizzard PK, and no, we knew that was coming, that's fine. And I sacrificed a bunch of doggos for that. Let them do it, sack it, raise it, whatever, we don't care. You want us to join Rings? Okay, guys, you all need to relax. It's not even been one turn yet. Just wait a little bit. We will redeclare war on Hexoatl eventually, once it's more critical. Spine of Sotek dwarves. They are friendly with everybody around them. I'm not going to do a military alliance yet, but we might do a defensive alliance with them in a bit. I just want to see if they actually manage to survive against Rakarth and the Skaven around them, because if they don't, then there's obviously no need. Hey, Urson Revivalists occupied a Tong territory, and the Tong have been destroyed. Well done. Look at Boris. I'm so proud. He prayed to Yarogni, and Yarogni delivered. Scribe research rate. Yeah, scribes are always a nice find. Defeated Luther Harkon for Simon, also a very nice trade, if nothing else, for the 25% spell resistant, which is fairly significant. Income from trade, tariffs, colonial factors, great. but it is manorialism that we really want. 4 turns until we get it. Oh, I can't wait to be able to recruit lords at level 15. It's gonna be fantastic. Immortal. Immortal. 1 second, sorry, I have to make a quick cut. It appears somebody's at my door. Sorry about that. Oh, the minute you sit down. Nobody bothers you all day. The minute you sit down. And oh, look at that. The attrition that we were suffering in this territory went away this turn. Fantastic. Wait, I could have sworn Simon... How did it drop down to 0? I guess it was minus 18, but were we suffering attrition when it was at 18 only? Interesting. Do we suffer attrition here? No, this is the same territory, isn't it? Well, I guess it doesn't matter, but what does matter is that Luther Harkin is done. There's barely anybody at the Blood Swamps, and we should be able to take it out. No problem. And looks like Quetzal might fall. Just gotta make sure not to get that Skaven plague. I have had enough of these plagues. Occupy the place, though not for long. The Awakened destroyed. Finally. Mosquito Swamps, we will set you up to go for Council or State Troop Levy. Just for now, we're going to be trading all of this to our lizard allies. We will also be getting the Hellstorm rocket batteries to Simon. I guess we should just replace the cannons, although they're basically the only anti-large units we have here. Though I guess if we were to build the... let me just see here. If we were to build a Hellblaster volley guns, wait, we have room for 5, maybe, well, 5 artillery pieces. I don't think we want to remove another greatsword because this is pretty good. This is a nice little stack. So if we're just playing around with these 5, let's say 2 Hellstorms, and we want to keep the Mortars at least. All right, 2 Hellstorms, 2 Mortars, and then maybe 1 of the... Honestly, you know what? Here's what we'll do. We'll replace these 2 mortars. We'll keep just the mortars. But honestly, the Hellstorms are just so superior to the mortars, like no contest, that I still think that we should by and large replace them. Just not the named one. Like so. And then we have room to either replace both cannons with Hellblaster volley guns, which we'll probably do. Or in the alternative, we could get 1 Hellblaster volley gun in here. Just the 1. And then maybe put in a single... let me think about this. A single war wagon, eh? Or we just get some support army with war wagons. Just once again, this army is going to have trouble with single entities like Luther Harkin and like the fact that he was hovering around like that. But if we have a supporting army that follows, I guess then we can deal with that. Either way, not important. We can move down to start hunting the rats, or we can go to the Fuming Serpent and the Star Tower first, because there are rats there too. Both would probably be valuable, and these islands are ones we can actually keep, whereas we're going to trade these ones away. I guess it really depends on whether we go here first or here first, but anyway, we'll figure that out next turn because we can't move right now. Anyway, where's Rikarth? Okay, so he's landed here at the Turtle Isle, and ooh, it looks like these guys are gonna have to defend themselves, and it's gonna get ugly. I'll also delete the clothier here, and try to replace it with a defensive structure. See if we can hold on to the place, but honestly, I doubt it. I'm actually not sure whether we should abandon it or not. I'll think about it, because if Rikarth attacks with his full stack and another 2 stacks, these garbage units are not going to be able to hold. Maybe it would be better to retreat to the Blood Hall and stuff where we can actually hold. We don't actually have to stay here after all. Also, these guys did not back off far enough, which is great because we should be able to hunt them down. So here's what we'll do. You are going to go here. Marcus, you are going to follow and destroy them. Hopefully with an auto-resolve, and you're gonna run, but you ain't running far enough, that's for sure. Alright, and Marcus, I guess you're gonna go after this one first, and then come back. Ooh, another full stack, damn, yeah, okay, so the Dark Elves are gonna be coming back in force. You are gonna go for Pardoned Captives, I guess, and then return back towards this army, and destroy it as well. You are going to go closer to the shore, which is fantastic. And then you're gonna go here. And we're gonna kill you.
Them down.
Lovely.
Let's get this done.
Now let's get this done while it is done, and take the money again, not that we really need. Hey, we did get a student this time around, even if we didn't for the first time. We actually deleted that stack. Marcus, you're gonna move back to the High Sentinel. Wait, let me think about this. You should actually go to, I was about to say Spectazuma, but you're, I guess, recruiting there for now, so you can just stay at the Floating Pyramid. Marcus, stay here at the High Sentinel for now until you're at full HP, and by that time the stack will probably be here and we'll have to fight that one as well. Okie dokie, now, what do we have going on everywhere else, I guess? There's a lot of stuff going on. First of all, looks like 8 Peaks should, in theory, fall, assuming that Thorgrim can actually manage to pull it off. Gelti looks to be reasonably safe here, which will allow Aldebras and Ferry here to advance towards the desolation of Nagash. I do believe this is attrition territory, yeah. I guess the question is, how much do we care about the attrition territory? And the answer is some. Because if there's a full stack here, then we will definitely care. Meaning, you two just advance together, and I guess if one of you gets ambushed and killed, then one of you gets ambushed and killed. Once again, I doubt that that'll happen to you, but who knows. Alternatively, I wonder, maybe we actually march Ferry up closer, and if an army goes after Ferry first, then that's fine, but at the same time, if he's a little bit closer, he can hit the Desolation of Nagash, and then Aldebras can come in as a reinforcement, which I think we prefer. And I don't really care about Nagashazar, because I don't think that Clan Moors is there. In fact, just to double check. Yeah, they have the one territory, so Clan Moors isn't there, which works for us. Alrighty, and more importantly than all that, and I know I keep saying things are more important than other things, but yeah, so what do we have going on here? Karl, I was going to have you advance towards the Burning Monolith, but we're more so actually through the Burning Monolith to the Howling Citadel. Boris, we could send you to take the Tower of Torment, but I fear if we do, Baronair Carmerax will take out your main stack, and I don't really want that. What we do want, I think, is to send Nud in camp stance out to take out the... let's see, out to take the Bleeding Spire and occupy it, and then as soon as that's occupied, we just trade all of this to Boris while sending Nud southward. Alright, and he should be at full HP, and this is the last settlement, I believe, of Akarak the Crow, or the Ghoul, rather, Akarak being their leader. Karl, I wish that this wasn't all attrition territory, and I guess it's just regular Chaos Waste attrition. I don't imagine you suffer a lot, but because your greatswords are currently damaged, I guess we have to move in and camp nonetheless. Even though the attrition itself is fairly minor, because you have so many buffs to anti-attrition. In fact, you should get one more in a second. But either way, to the Howling Citadel for your final match against Archaon, hopefully. Another point in reassuring presence, please, like so. And just out of curiosity, no, I'm not going to risk it. I wanted to see whether this would actually diminish the attrition to 0, because I think if it does, we start healing here, despite it being Chaos Waste, if we're immune to Chaos Attrition because we're in allied territory, but I'm not going to risk it. What I do want is Kurt Helborg to head into the... Wait, what? Do you actually heal more at sea? 29 and 3. 35 and 2. Why do you heal more at sea? Oh, because it's friendly territory. Okay, wait, here's what we can do. You can instead go into encamp, but in friendly territory. Like so, which should in theory allow you to heal more. 30 and 3, yeah, way more, because you're gonna march down here and start working on the rats. We don't need or want the Temple of Heimkel, and watch us get another frickin' rat plague on him, I swear. I shouldn't have even said anything, I don't want to jinx it. Oh man, we can trade the Temple of Heimkel to you. Temple of Heimkel, and you want to join our wars against somebody? How about Puppets of Misrule? Okay, sure. And you want 11k, go for it. And just to keep him nice and friendly with us and with our allies, there we go. You can have that back, and then we'll give you these... Well, actually, we'll probably give Borosaurus these territories, because he has Stormfrak Mount already. And then all of this will go to the regular Kislevites. Anyway, since Karl and Kurt can't reach anywhere, and it looks like Kurt has moved... We do want to attack Hellpit with Maternus Ditizen, and while we obviously don't have time to fight this big battle today, but it will be a big battle and it will be fought as soon as we can get to it. We also should start moving down here, I guess, to Siok Traken. Like... So, wait, can either of you reach it? Ah, you can reach it. Oh, fantastic. Wait. Would you be able to attack us in reprisal? I don't know. Alright, you're gonna go here. What do we have in terms of defenses at Siok Traken? Something crazy. I'm a little bit wary of Baronair attacking us, but let's just hope that it doesn't happen. You're gonna go here, and you're gonna siege this Otto Lehman. You still can't quite reach Ludwig, but that's just fine for now. Is this auto-resolvable? Well, it's mostly basic units. I don't think anybody will die to the auto-resolve, so let's auto-resolve, and yeah, that's fine, that's fine. It's obviously not worth fighting with 2 versus 1. Occupy the place, and we will actually want to trade it, but next turn, I guess. If we were to trade it now, you would suffer attrition, even though it would allow Ludwig to heal more. Actually, wait, he can heal a little bit more by moving away from this. Ah, no, we can't risk it. I don't think Baronair can reach us here, but I don't want to risk that he can, so we'll sacrifice a little bit of healing for it. What we also want to do is get another temporary lord up here, also. Let's say another... Oh. Somebody who we've hired before. I wish I remembered who was a recruiter. I'm gonna... I wonder if Owen Ditizen was a recruiter. Campaign skills 4, so yes. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter that he's a recruiter too much, but anyway. What I want you to do, Mr. Owen, is select Avalorn and begin constructing the Tree Man for a Ludwig Schwarzhelm. Now... How many turns? Okay, wait. It was gonna be like 50 turns. Well, not 50 turns, but a long time. Also, Lillian and Bellakai. Can we reach either one of those? I don't see Lillian, and I don't see Bellakai. Looks like they're fairly far away. Admiral Yurdathane and Admiral Urian, pretty unlikely to reach. Let's select Lillian. What about Spirits of Shanlin? Oh, I actually forget. Oh, we can't build an outpost with them. It's so unfortunate. This guy's name is just Ra. It's just Ra? Okay. Not bad, but kind of surprising. Let's select another one of these. Once again, I don't think we care about the mission from these guys, but we'll take it. If only their outpost got deleted. Who has their outpost with you, by the way? It is the... Huh? What? Why can't we build an outpost? This faction has no settlements available, but there's no outpost here. Oh, huh, interesting. It may be either this faction, it's probably that faction, but their outpost is sort of broken, so it doesn't really let them do it. I think that's what's happening. Either that or Nakai maybe had an outpost there, or wait, I thought Nakai didn't have access to outpost units. Oh wow, look at that. Puhong is gonna get taken out. Yeah, Cathay's in trouble, at the very least in the south. North is doing a little bit better, but mostly because of our own efforts. You able to reach Kurgan Tamer? He tames the Kurgans. Not bad. You should be able to auto-resolve this, I think. Get him the heck out of here. And he didn't actually claim Blizzard Peak, not that we really care about it. And, oh, hello. Well, he's coming back with a full force. I guess you're going to sit out here and try not to die next turn. Though you very well might, if this guy moves into March stance. Nah, he can't reach yet. We'll see what Kurgan Tamer does, but hopefully you can hold on to the territory at least until Nud gets here. Anyway, I think with that, this is probably going to be a pretty good place to call it. I want to do the admin, like the hero moves and stuff between the episodes as I've been doing. So next time we'll come back and we'll probably attack Hellpit in an absolutely massive battle. I'll try to get it to be a field battle because I'd love to see Maternus and the Fire Army work in the field, and then if we can manage that, we will, we'll have a glorious time, let's say. Otherwise, we will continue advancing through Norska. We've got to destroy them before they get more armies underway, and we will have to figure out what we're doing with both the Dark Elves and down here with the rats and the birds, the rats and the birds. So it's a horrible version of the birds and the bees. And then, yeah, we have to move southward as well. Anyway, keep advancing until, oh man, and hopefully finally get that last confederation. Well, not last, but the one that we really want, the Nuln Confederation. Give us Nuln already, game. Hopefully we'll see that next time. Stay tuned to find out. Don't forget to leave a like and comment. All glory to the algorithm. And thanks for watching.